Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome to Rush Racing League Division 1, Saudi Arabia. We are here now at the Jeddah Corniche circuit, and we are going to get things ready to rock and roll here as we get ready for round 7. We've had a lot of action here in the last couple of weeks. We've had sprints, 100% races, but this one is just a good old-fashioned regular style race, and it is going to be a grand old time as we get ready to go. In the commentary booth, it'll be myself, Patrick Holman, aka Rekus. Alongside me is Daniel. Daniel, how you doing tonight, mate?
I'm doing pretty awesome. Wrecker's been out all day, so I'm ready to come home and relax and watch some Division 1 action.
Yeah, it's going to be a grand time here as we are just having a few of the first cars make their way on to the track. But before we get too deep into this, we do have a very special guest with us this week, jumping in here, and it is the team principal of the Visa Cash App Racing Bulls and a team of the week from Belgium. It is Com United. So, Com United, how are you doing today, mate?
I'm not doing too bad, Ruckus. Daniel, yourself as well. Just had a bit of a party last night, and now I'm just chilling out watching Div 1.
Yeah, so as the first couple of drivers do make their way onto circuit. So, you guys obviously had a very strong week in Belgium. So, where do you guys go from here is going to be the big question. You guys had a fantastically strong week in Belgium. How do you guys feel about coming into Jeddah? Because, well, yes, Belgium is a very energy starved circuit. This track is even more energy starved.
Well, this week was nothing out of the extraordinary. I'm hoping the boys have done the practice around this track. I certainly haven't. That will be a plan for me tomorrow. Saudi is definitely a track where you need to manage your battery somewhat well if you want to have any chance of doing well. Obviously, on last year's game, it was still really challenging to still manage the battery. But this year, with these new regs, it's just going to be not disastrous, but just incredibly difficult.
Yeah, it's going to make things really, really difficult, especially just because it's so tricky to get that energy management to go through. So, only a handful of questions before I go ahead and let you go. Um, just taking a look at the overalls here this season, it's been a pretty decent battle for a lot of the positions in this championship so far, but right now VCarb sits P3 just by Ferrari and Williams. How do you feel about that coming into round number 7 of the season?
Um, Obviously, to be honest, like when I first started out, I didn't really expect a whole lot. Obviously, first time being a team principal in any capacity for many years, so I hoped that I was going to be up around that top half of that overalls. But to be P3 at this stage has been a really good start. But obviously, we're in a title fight, well, an overall fight with Williams and Ferrari. So we can't really just keep dropping our heads. We need to continue to push and get towards like that P1 because obviously if you're in the P1, you're going to become the hunted and not the hunters.
Yeah, which is always a bit of a different ball game entirely. So, well, that's all the questions I got. Thank you so much for jumping on in. Before we go, any final thank yous or shout outs?
I want to shout out the team. Like the team has been overly supportive of me being a first time TP. Obviously, there are going to be some mistakes that I make, some decisions that may be a little bit questionable, but overall, it's just good to just learn and grow as a TP. And I can't wait to watch this action. I reckon Div 1's going to be very interesting. I should expect at least one safety car for every division this weekend, since it is a very safety car heavy um, track in recent league races I have raced in.
Yeah, we'll just kind of just play it by ear and see how it goes. Well, once again, thanks you so much for tuning or jumping on in. Once again, congratulations to VCar for the fantastic week you guys had last weekend. Unless Daniel has any other questions, enjoy the night and good luck to your drivers.
Thanks, Marcus.
All right, so that was the team principal of the Visa Cash App Racing Bulls. That was Com United, and he's gonna go. He had some pretty interesting thoughts. I mean, a lot of first-time TPs coming into the season, and I think out of the first-time TPs, he has pretty much been the best of the bunch. Just take a look at the overall standings for Rush. So, should be a very, very interesting race here that we have in Jeddah. MI Pixel is going to be the next car to make his way across the line. And yeah, this is a very energy-heavy circuit, and also very, very narrow. It's pretty much almost the quintessential street circuit when it comes to just it's high speed and not a lot of opportunities to get overtakes done. Not without at least risking it for the biscuit. Pixel 2.3 seconds off the back of the top time. McJammy in the Haas doing a pretty good job holding his own as Terrence will get ready to come across the line. Where's it going to go? It's going to go up into P16 for the Red Bull as K&M in the Cadillac is still making his way on through. What are your thoughts on this Jeddah Corniche circuit, Daniel? Have you raced here before in these current regulations?
Not in these. Well, if you want to speak about the reserve program, then yes, technically yes, but technically yes and no. But it's very, very, very windy. Most of the corners are a one, like car only line. You know, you can't really make too much overtakes. The only overtakes you could see is going into the very far hairpin and maybe going down into the final corner and into turn one. So I would say Jeddah is a very good track for racing, but it's very, very chaotic, as you could have seen in the reserve program.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, this in the last regulation set, this was actually one of my favorite tracks to drive on. It always had such a nice flow, a very satisfying method when you did actually hit the corners. It was just such a fun track. I did enjoy this one. With these new regulations, the car it still handles great, but with the energy management, it does make this track a bit of a doozy to go ahead and go through. And we'll just kind of see how it just pans out. We'll see how the drivers kind of adapt to it. Can-Am up in the 15th as we go ahead and just check in on board. Everybody's got done with their first runs, so we should be expecting our second runs here soon, as some drivers are on a bit of a recharge lap. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough one with the management. There's not really so the tracks that really benefit these cars, the tracks that really play to their strengths, are the tracks that have a lot of hard braking zones, which Jeddah has not a bunch of. You're pretty much flat out through most of it, so you always want to be pushing pretty much as you physically can on this track, but you also got to be real smart with the battery. So with that all being said, you just got to give it your all, but not give it your all at the same time. It's a weird mix for Jeddah, I will say. It's probably, especially with these regs, it's probably one of the most paradoxical tracks on the calendar.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, it's one of those tracks where you don't really know what to do. It's like, where do I deploy? Where do I charge? It's like Spa, right? Last week in Spa. Spa was a very heavy battery usage track. You couldn't really manage it well. But I feel like with Jeddah, you can maybe, save that battery a little bit with these very windy corners and not many straights. So it's you know.
Yeah, we'll just have to kind of figure out how this one plays, and I mean the racing should be decent. The racing should be very decent. We still have about 7.5, little over 7.5 minutes left to go in quali. It is going to be McJeremy ahead of Katusha, ahead of Zops, ahead of Jades, and then Aiden is going to be your top 5. So another thing too is that Jonno is not here at the moment. So the constructors champions or constructors championship leaders, excuse me, in both the overalls and here in Div 1 being Williams. Their star driver is out at the moment, but it has still pretty much just been the Williams and McLaren show so far this season. McJammy, who's actually racing for Haas this time around, um, was a McLaren reserve, and he has won both in Spa-Francorchamps and Zandvoort, and then pretty much everything else has been nothing but Williams, actually specifically Jonno. So, I mean, it'll be interesting just to kind of see how the season does play out. Obviously, we're still very early on in this one. We're only in round 7, and actually, interestingly enough, we do have Madrid for a 100% race, which Madrid is a crazy track. I got to cover it recently with PSGL, and that track is absolutely insane. It's surprisingly a really fun track to watch. I was kind of concerned with the track coming in, but and then we have the silly season break week after Madrid, so we should be in for a good one. And then when we come back, it'll be the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, Silverstone, the Red Bull Ring, Suzuka, Singapore, and then we would go to Mexico, Miami, Vegas, Bahrain, and then we wrap things up in Melbourne. So we do have a pretty solid calendar coming up through the rest of the season, but quite a few drivers still just trying to give it their all on these runs. So I'm going to pose this question to you, Daniel. Um, do you think we're going to see a third constructor join the winner's circle this race? Because so far it's only been McLaren and Williams.
Ooh. So only McLaren and Williams. I would have to say yes. And it would have to go in the way of McJammy Dodge here tonight, because he did a 27.7, and next quickest is Zops with a 28.1. So McJammy might be the person to join the winning circle here in Division 1, and that would make the third constructor, a new constructor to join the winning circle here in Division 1. So I would have to go with yes, Wreckers. We will see a new constructor hit the winning circle.
Alright, and actually, I think we're going to also put a prediction in chat. Let's go ahead and get prediction season started. So go ahead and get amongst it. Go ahead and use those channel points. And I'm going to put the poll out very soon of, will we see a new constructor winning in Div 1 tonight? So Daniel's saying yes. Daniel's saying yes. He's thinking it's going to be Haas. It's going to be interesting. Because I also want to say yes to this. But, I mean, you know, it's racing, you know. We can't always, you know, predict the future. I mean, we're doing a prediction, obviously, but there it is. Go ahead and get yourselves involved. The poll will be up for 5 minutes. So it'll be also within the first minute or so of race time, as well as we do have the next batch of drivers really going ahead and going through. McJammy does seem to have a really good edge on this. So, I mean, and McJammy's, I mean, he's always had a really good edge around this circuit. Also, he's just been extraordinarily quick, and we'll see what he can do here in this one. A few drivers on an out lap at the moment, as Bailey will go ahead and be on an out lap in his Haas. So, yeah, it's good. This race is expected to really be a great one, as drivers are going to go ahead and just go on through. And we'll see. Okay, he's going to wait for this one. If you can get a tow around here, that is ideal. So, a few drivers going on that second out lap. Terrence in the Red Bull is going to go ahead and go on a lap. So we're going to go ahead and jump on board with the Red Bull as he makes his way through Sector 1, coming through now. If you get too close on the exit of Turn 7, there is that skate curb, as I like to call it. It's a curb that absolutely just grabs your car and pulls you in. Oh, wow. Wowee me oh my. Somebody is feeling optimistic. Um, so there's 25k points on in the favor of seeing a new constructor winning in Div 1. So Terrence now going to go ahead and make his way on through, coming through Sector 2, just winding his way through. He has found about 3/10 of a second, almost 4/10 of a second. And now he's just going to go ahead and try to burn it down to the line. He's going to go ahead and let it just cool off a bit, getting up to about 323 kilometers an hour. Hard on the brakes, trying to build it up before the final straight. He's going to go ahead and then just tap in and go ahead and use the Red Bull to give himself some wings. Is it going to be enough to help him fly up the order? It is. Now that's a crazy thing. That was almost 0.8 of a second of improvement, but he doesn't improve his position. He improves his lap time by almost 0.8 of a second. That just shows you how much there is for drivers to really find here in Jeddah. So there we go. As qualifying is still underway. Huddy the Goat going to continue on. Zops and Bailey. Bailey just improved up in the third. What about Zops is invalidated. McJammy is on another. Well, he just improved. So we'll see if we can find another car that's on a lap here that's pushing. Maybe. Okay, yeah, Katusha is on the lap as well. So in the last 30 seconds of qualifying, as we are well and truly in the rush hour, especially around this track, things are just getting really, really spicy here.
Yeah, things are getting spicy towards the top end. McJammy, he's had control of this qualifying session from the get-go. Zops, he's right there, he's there, but he invalidated his, well, penultimate lap as he starts a new one now. He didn't make it to the line actually, so that'll be P2 for Zops. But McJammy, he's improving by 39 thousandths, well now 92 thousandths through the second sector. He's getting a tow from, please don't be telling me that's Katusha Pravada. Yeah, it is Katusha. He's getting a nice, beautiful tow from Pravada, the guy in P4. So they'll probably gain him another 10th in a bit. So let's see if McJammy can improve his time. And as you see, Pravada have a bit of a moment through the final quarter, but McJammy Dodge to the line, finds another 0.2 of a second, and that'll be pole position for McJammy Dodge, a 1-3 for Haas. Let's see what Ryan Adair's doing. Can he somewhat trouble the top three as he whacks the barrier coming out of the final quarter, trying to give Zombie a pole as well. Ryan Adair to the line, he jumps up to P4. Zombie, his teammate behind him, stays P10, and Weber up to P9. He's been struggling the whole qualifying session, so that's very good result for Weber. And I would say that is about that, Wreckers. McJammy Dodge on pole position for Division 1.
He does go ahead and get there as K&M does improve up into 14th. And unless we see a monster lap from Falco, which we do not, he pulled into the pits. And that is going to be qualifying done, dusted, and delivered. McJammy Dodge taking pole position for Haas. And Haas right now looking like a very, very strong team here in Jeddah. Wasn't exactly on my bingo card here for tonight, but I love being pleasantly surprised, as it is, like you said, a Haas 1-3. So, but the turn 1 here in Jeddah is a very sharp turn 1. It is similar-ish to that Monza turn 1, except you just don't have as much of a run to it, so it's not going to be as terrifying to go through turn 1, as it is going to be McJammy Dodge on pole position for the Toyota GR Haas Racing F1 team, or some full version of that. But here is your qualifying order as it does sit. It is going to be McJammy Dodge ahead of Zops, ahead of Bailey, Jades, Ryan Adair, Katusha, M. John, Kazuto, Weba, Aiden is Raiden, Zombie, Dito, Zax User, K&M, Huddy the Goat, Koopa Troopa, Terrence, MI Pixel, and then Falcon, rounding out your qualifying grid here on the evening. So, with that being said and done, that is qualifying in the books. But qualifying is all about getting that one good lap. But here in the race, you have over 20 of these laps that you got to get through. I think it's 25. I want to say 25 laps, but you still have a huge, huge, huge race to get through.
Yeah, I can confirm it is 25 laps, so very, very, very long race here tonight around the Jeddah Corniche circuit. But let's talk predictions here, okay? Who you got winning?
Ooh, who do I have winning? Oh, that's gonna be an interesting one. Put me in a pretty interesting spot here, Mr. Daniel. I'm gonna say. It's actually gonna be a tough one. I don't exactly know who I'm gonna go ahead and go for, cause there's some good drivers in there. Obviously, McJammy has just absolutely wiped the floor in qualifying here. So I mean, it's hard to not say McJammy, but I mean, also I think Bailey's got some pretty good chops. And speaking of saying that rhymes with chops, Zops I think has a pretty good shot as well. So, whew, I don't know actually. This one's gonna be a bit of a doozy. I think just based on evidence, I might go with McJammy. I think that's who I'm gonna go with, just based on the evidence. He does have 2 race wins and a sprint win with McLaren this season. So he took the double in Zandvoort, and he's got 3 wins in the bag counting sprints. So the only driver aside from Jonno to win here in Division 1. But hey, it's a very tricky track here, Jeddah. So, I mean, it just takes one slight wrong move to get your end plate knocked off. And we're about to kick off the race here in Jeddah. 5 red lights. And away we go here in Jeddah. It's going to be a good run now. Some drivers are already making some defensive moves. And Zops already gets a jump for the lead of the race in the opening stages of this Grand Prix. We're already seeing some drivers shuffling their way about, trying to fight for every singular position. Who is going to go ahead and make it stick? McJammy's dropped down into second. Jade's actually up into third. Right there down into fifth. So quite a few position changes happening at the beginning of the Grand Prix. And here are your tires just to go ahead and get things rolling. A majority of the field is running on the mediums. You got 3 drivers on the hards. So this is going to be a great lap to see how everything is panning out. Jade's trying to go ahead and put some pressure now on the McJammy, but McJammy trying to go ahead and go for the retake. You got to have a good toe here, and that turn 1 was going to be a very popular one. And here we go. McJammy trying to find it, trying to find their way. Jade's right not too far back. And we'll see. Alpine's had a tricky start this season, but right now Jade's has been a definite bright spot for this team as drivers are continuing to just go for it. And we're going to just see as the drivers make their way through, coming across the line. And Zops had a very, very good jump across the line. As now we just see the gaps with the drivers. And actually everybody's still pretty much nose to tail here. For the most part, Jade's really just applying that pressure to the back. And here's how the positions change. Nobody's really gained or lost more than 2 positions. So, honestly, a very tame opening stage here, Daniel. A lot tamer than I thought it would be.
Yes, a very clean start and a very good getaway from Ops, who started P2. He got a very good getaway. McJammy, I don't think he launched either. But yeah, very good launch by Zops. And there's contact between Bailey and what seemed to be Ryan Adair as Bailey loses out in that fight there. But yeah, McJamie Dodge. Let's see if he will reclaim what's rightfully his that he somewhat lost on the first lap. Will he go for it around the final corner as you see all of these 26 cars make their way around the Jeddah Corniche circuit? But look at Jade's. Jade's putting the pressure on. But here comes McJamie Dodge round the side. Done, sent, delivered in the mail. And he has got what he had started with. McJamie Dodge back to the lead of the group, up 2:25. But look, but don't forget about Jade's in that Alpine in P3, as Ranadair is somewhat catching up to this top 3 battle. Same with Pravada, he's sticking with it. As we're going to have a big old DRS train here, Wreckers. I reckon it's McJamie all the way down to someone in the lower ranks of 10th and beyond.
Yeah, actually, everybody down to Huddy in P14 has that overtake boost. McJamie also doesn't have the overtake boost because he is now in the lead of the race, although he will have it, I think, for the rest of this lap, because he was within that 1 second by the time they came across the overtake zone, at least last time I remember. So it will be a pretty decent advantage for McJamie if he can go ahead and hold it. Jade's is looking like he's gonna try to make things very difficult for the machine in Papaya, as Jade is trying to find any kind of gap to try to get around Zops. I mean, this is such a track where if you cannot find a gap, then you are just not going to make any of the moves. The gaps are so few and far between, especially with just how tight and narrow this Jeddah Corniche circuit is. As they make their way down to the line, Zops is going to try to close it in, and the top 4, we have really just broken away here from the rest of the pack. Katusha was just outside of the 1 second mark, as we do have a few position changes happening in the midfield. Dito and Webber going wheel to wheel, and that is going to be a battle that it will be decided, as the drivers are just going to continue to fight their way on through. Back up to the front as this battle continues to develop. Jade's right on the gearbox of Zops now. Zops had really good pace on the launch, but just hasn't quite had an answer from McJamie ever since McJamie did get back into the race lead here, as K&M, a driver who was actually kind of nervous coming into this week, a debuting driver here with Cadillac, a debuting team, and I'd say so far, I mean, he's got both of his end plates, and he's actually doing pretty darn well, I'd have to say. I mean, 15th in Div 1 on your first outing is really nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, I was very nervous for my Grand Prix in Rush. I believe it might have been a Div 1 race as well. My debut race was a Div 1 race, I think. So, yeah, K&M, he would be pretty nervous to run with everyone that's Div 1 pace. Obviously, you saw him, me and him have a famous battle in the reserve program on Thursday. And then, unfortunately, my race ended early. But as he loses out to Cooper Trooper. Cooper Trooper all the way down to 15th? Damn, I thought he would have more pace. Anyway, back up with the top 2. I believe McJamie is starting to somewhat open a gap to Zops here. I reckon Zops might be struggling with his tyres early on. But with that overtake mode, but look at Jade's down the inside of Zops. Can he make the move stick? Yes, he can. That is Jade's upper position thanks to Zops struggling early on tyres with 20 laps to go. This race will most likely be a one-stop race, as with that battle, that's let McJamie Dodge open a 8/10 gap to Jade's in PT Alpine. And then back to Pravada, there's a 2-second gap between himself and Ryan Adair. So this top four have slowly started to inch away from Katusha Pravada, who loses out to Amjon on the hards. But I wouldn't count out at all. He's on the hards. He's go long. I reckon once these top four start struggling with tires, Amjon is going to be all over it.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking that this could be a two-stopper for a good chunk of the field, just because the medium tires really do take a beating around this track. So it might be a two-stop, might be a one-stop. If drivers can manage it, they're going to try to go for the one-stop. I think the drivers who started on the hards have a bit of a better shot at doing that, as Bailey now is trying to find some kind of gap here. It's been a bit of a tricky start for Bailey. He started third, now down into 7th position. So he's having a bit of a tough time here in Jeddah. Of course, having race pace around this track is so difficult, especially just considering the nature of the circuit. So Bailey is still going to try to hunt down Katusha, as he is going to just try to hold on here. And oh, a bit of a wall back there for the Haas driver. So a bit of a tough time for him here tonight. Jumping back up to the front, the McLaren driver, the driver in papaya of Zops, is going to try to hold on and try to get the move done. He's got the inside. Good on the brakes. Coming into the final corner of the racetrack, and he's got the move. And he'll get the overtake boost as well, so he can really just start trying to hunt down McJammy here. Zop's now trying to close in the gap, trying to reel him on in. Jades will definitely not want to let this go. Ryan Adair is sitting real pretty though, so if there's any form of contact between these drivers as they make their way through this very, very twisty track that's actually only got one more year, I think. It's only going to be around until 2027. And then I think they're switching to that new purpose-built Jeddah track, or the new, what's it called? There's a new track that Saudi Arabia is going to be using for 2028 onwards. I remember hearing a lot about it. It's supposed to open in 2028. Got a 20-story run into turn 1, which is absolutely insane to think about. It's basically like a roller coaster racetrack. As Zops is actually really got that gap closed down to McJammy, so it's been a very interesting battle watching these top four give it a go. With Ryan Adair really just kind of watching this battle with a bucket of popcorn in his Ferrari, just kind of waiting for somebody to make that mistake.
Yeah, Ryan Adair's job for is to wait for these top three to choke, and he pass and he wins. Ryan Adair always wins. If you get that little reference, let me know in the comments. But yeah, his job is just to sit there and wait for these three to crash. So Ryan Adair, he's sitting pretty right now, but he's just hanging back, you know, he's staying within over of Jade's in P3. So just as long as he stays in overtake, I think that's pretty good, as Huddygoat gets a penalty for track limits. But this is looking pretty darn awesome for McJammy here. He's been in control from qualifying till now at this point in time. Zops has been there, but it's like he doesn't have enough pace. Jades, he's also there. And then you have that big gap to Mjon and Pravada. And then another semi gap to Kazuto in P8. And then you have Aiden and Zombie running at your top 10. So this is looking pretty good for McJammy, just as long as he doesn't do anything stupid, get a penalty, or make some sort of mistake. I reckon he's got this in the bag, right?
It's always if statements, isn't it, when it comes to racing? I mean, we've seen a handful of drivers getting the track limit pens earlier on, as Jays tries to squeeze on through, and there was no room for him at the end. as he's going to try to close in the gap. Is he going to make the move? Is he going to lick the step and send it? No, he's going to go to wait. I think there's also a bit of a management race going on here. I think we're seeing that McJammy and Zops just trying to, especially McJammy, just really controlling the race, controlling it at his pace. As, whoa, what did we just witness here? Okay, never mind, pit stops. Okay, pit stops. So, it's a management race that we're seeing here. So, they're trying not to burn each other out too much in the early stages. As MI Pixel and Falcon are going to go ahead and scrap side by side. And Zop's trying to go ahead and make some kind of moves here. It is far from the end of the race though. It is only lap 9. So we're not quite at the halfway mark yet. But as we get through there, it's yeah, I'm starting to really think that the 2-stop might be a bit more prevalent. I think that's going to be the call here, because I mean, it's a very hot track here in Jeddah. Very, very hot. And Jades goes a bit deep in action now. Jades is going to be under some pressure from the Ferrari of Ryan Adair. This is for the podium. It is Alpine versus Ferrari. Welcome back, 2005 and 2006. Jades holds on for now, but the Ferrari is hot on his heels. And yeah, this top 4 battle is just absolutely cooking. As Zops now continues to close in this gap. And it's really just going to be just a bunch of pressure here. Like pressure on these top 4. And it's really just going to be the battle of who cracks first.
Yeah, that's the question. Who's going to decide to come down pit lane and bolt on a fresh set of what's presumably hards or mediums? Now, to those first people that pitted, Zombie, Zakus, and Weber, I followed them into the pit lane. They all had a collision and lost almost every wing end plate that there is to be had. So I watched that. Zakus and Weber all have contacts coming into the pit lane as Weber gets a penalty, and that is Jade's gone a little bit wide. But that's opened a gap now. With those two battling, have opened a gap to Zops and McJammy in P1 and P2 as Ryan Adair goes for it down the inside as Pixel gets a penalty. Ryan Adair getting a little bit squirrely. This is insane racing here in Division 1. What I was gonna say is they had a bit of contact, and that's another thing you're gonna want to watch for. The pit lane speed limiter.
Pixel.
Being not... Oh, is Pixel slow? Oh, Pixel's around. No, that's my driver. That's my, well, was default driver.
Oh, and as we're looking at that, Zops gets a move for the lead. Zops has made his way into the lead of the race as we were checking in on Pixel. That was a pass for the lead. And we'll see now if McJammy can have a response. So Zops now back in the lead of the race. They're going to continue to battle as we do see Ryan Adair actually make his way into the pits. So he just put it in for the hard. He's going for the undercut. He's going to try to get past M. John quickly. It looks like M. John pretty much just let him on through, saying, you know what, that's not... Oh, that was Terrence, excuse me. Cooper Troop is out. He's retired in the pit lane. So one of the V-Carbs is out of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Checking in a bit further back. Zombie is trying to catch up to Zax as they are going to continue to try to fight for position. And it's going to be a look. Oh, and that is actually a little bit of connectivity gremlins on the side of Zombie as Dito gets past Falcon. That is going to be for P15 on the road. But look at this. McJammy coming back. Guess who's back? Back again. It is McJammy. Just knocking on the door of Zops. Trying to find something here. Trying to find any kind of purchase. Any kind of give. And they're both going to give themselves a fresh set of rubber. Oh, they're trying to slow it on down. So this is going to put M. John in the lead of the race. And Bailey will jump up into second now. Here's the interesting thing about that. Bailey's got a really good chance that he could just help out his teammate here quite a bit. Because the two Zops and McJam are going to come out pretty much within sneezing distance of each other. Does Ryan Adair actually get through to both of them? No, he does not. But he's right on the heels, so he is actually... The undercut actually did work out pretty well for him. As that is going to be... That's going to be Pixel again. As he's going to try to get back facing the right direction. He might have wing damage, is what I'm assuming. So, here's the tires as they sit right now. Everybody except our top three and Terrence have pit in. So, M. John's going to go for a while. I think K&M and Bailey are going to pit in this next lap, is what I'm going to assume. Unless they're really just trying to push for the one stop. I mean, M. John and Terrence probably could go for the one stop. Also, Falcon is not pit as well. So, those three, depending on how long they can push this hard tire, they could probably go for the one. I think everybody's going to try for the one, but whether they achieve the one stop will be a bit of a different story. As we'll see how K&M actually comes into effect in this battle. He will be the slower car because he's on 11 lap old mediums in comparison. And oh, what has happened? That's one of the Red Bulls. Is that Terrence? I think Terrence had a bit of a moment.
No, it's M. John.
Oh, it's M. John. So M. John's in the pits.
Yeah, he had a moment. Sorry to interrupt you. He had a moment coming out of the final corner. It's either he used the RS too quickly and spun, or his tires were that old and he spun and hit the wall. So that's why you lag.
Okay, and Pixel is out. I think he had rear wing damage. So quite a few positions changing up due to the pit stops. Both Bailey and M. John into the pit, so they actually are probably going to go for the two-stopper here on this one. So, it'll be a two-stop race for the both of them, as now Ryan Adair is well and truly also in this mix for the race win here. So, it's going to be a good fight between these three, just good battles happening up at the front. And it's pretty much all happening here at the front of the field as McJammy gets one done on the Zops. Very good pass indeed. And oh, look at this. Ryan Adair also trying to come through as well. So Ryan Adair, who's on the one lap older hard tires, he is going to really just be in a prime spot here because his tires are already warmed up. I think McJammy's and Zops are just now getting to that temperature window. Can we see a repass here from Zops? McJammy, the gap is being closed in, and now it is going to be the overtake boost for the Papaya machine. And he's going to go to get the run. He's got the slipstream. He's got the speed. But does he have the overtake? No, he's going to go to wait a bit. Especially with how energy heavy this circuit really is, and how much, like, I mean, compared to some other tracks on the calendar, we were talking about the calendar a little bit earlier, but even compared to some of the other tracks that we have coming up, I mean, this track is so... You got to be so careful on when to use your battery, because, I mean, Zops, he had battery to play with there. He probably had about 40-ish% battery, but if he burned it up too much, then he would not have enough to really try to make anything happen. But look at this, a move into the Aramco hairpin for Zops, and he's going to retake the lead. Ryan Adair is also right there on the inside. So Ryan Adair trying to go ahead and make the move onto McJammy. But he just ran out of real estate as Bailey now drops down. Oh, look at this gaggle right back here. This is for 7th, 8th, or 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. These guys are all just in a mighty fine gaggle coming through. But they will have to tuck back in to single file. McJammy now trying to maybe be in a spot to retake the lead. It is going to be pass and repass as we do make our way through. But look at this. Here comes McJammy trying to maybe make a move around the inside. Or he's going to try to send it the long way around. And it's going to be a drag race. It's going to be basically a three-way drag race. Jade's trying to invite himself into the mix. Ryan Adair is going to be tucked in behind Zops. They're going to come down. Who's going to be late on the brakes? Is it going to be Ryan Adair? No, he's just not quite late enough. Just didn't quite have the advantage, but that does give Zops a little bit of breathing room here, as this race does continue to deliver here in Jeddah. And I mean, this really is kind of a Peloton race if you think about it, but it's a very entertaining Peloton race.
Look, I don't even know what that is, and I agree with you. So whatever the heck that race type of race is, it might be exciting. Is that a race that happens? Yes, may I ask?
It's a cycling race.
So basically, Tour de France and all that. Okay, no, so it makes more sense. That
Pretty
Zop's
much.
going a little bit deep into that corner. That's going to invite McJammy Dodge back into it. He's going to have that overtake mode. He's going to have the overspeed. He's going to try to look around the outside. Happening. Now, let's see if he can try it through here. It will most likely happen. He's got the overtake. He's got speed. That is going to be McJammy Dodge trying to go around the outside. Can he make it happen? Going the long way around. He cannot make it stick though. But watch these two behind him. The Ferrari of Lamb and Jades in the Alpine. Those two are getting involved. But look at McJammy Dodge trying to go around the outside. They're basically NASCAR 2x2 almost. Coming down into turn 1, but they go single file. That is McJammy Dodge back into the lead of the Grand Prix with 9 laps remaining. Now, with that massive gaggle of cars, I believe that's starting to calm itself down now. It's still very much chaotic back here, but now it was pretty sure 6th down to 11th. It's now 6th just down to 8th now. Potentially 8th, potentially 9th and 10th if we count the accurate. But back up to the leaders now. McJammy Dodge, who has a 1 lap tire advantage onto the Ryanair there, but Zops and him are all equal on tires. So it's whoever's quickest is gonna get the win here, as you may have heard Will Buxton say on the Formula One documentary Drive to Survive. Clearly stating the obvious. And that's what I'm doing. Stating the obvious. Whoever's quickest is gonna get the race win. But Zops, he's gonna have that overtake go turn 1. He's gonna have the battery percentage going down turn 1. Let's see, will he go for the lunge, or will he... Or will he sit back for another lap and wait for it? He's sit back for another lap and wait for it. As we work our way onto lap 17 out of 25 on round number 7, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. I reckon McJammy's got this basically. If he can hold off Zop's wreckers, he can hold off anybody.
Yeah, I mean, this one really is just a race of pass and repass. So you really just gotta be careful and just be pretty much, you gotta time things right. And I think that's why I was saying that this is kind of a Peloton race, and they're just gonna pass and repass each other, just trying to trade. Because I mean, almost like a Formula E race, you don't really want to lead this race until like the last couple of laps. So Bailey now trying to go ahead and close in to Aina's Raiden, who does have Dito right behind as well. So we do have a good 3-pack battling for 6th, 7th, and 8th, as they are going to continue to make their way through the Jeddah Corniche circuit. A very tight circuit that had its first race in 2021. But here we go. Zop's got some speed. But does he have to move? No, he's going to wait, because I mean, you might as well wait, because he's going to have that overtake again anyway. So now he's going to go ahead and burn it. And oh, look at the overspeed. And that's the papaya machine back up into the lead with the fastest lap to boot. So Zops now looking at some really good result potential. But Ryan Adair is almost, actually, everybody except Zops there went deep going into turn number 2 there, it looked like. So a lot of drivers. That is kind of terrifying, because going deep on this track usually results in a tire getting dislocated. So you gotta be real careful here as drivers make their way on through. Less than 10 laps to go here in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, a track that has been discontinued in the real world up until next year, which is actually his last year on the schedule, I believe. So Jade's now gonna try to hold on, but look at this. McJeff's got speed, but there's contact between the two, and Zops has been disconnected. Oh no! Zops has been disconnected. Oh, we need to try to get him back in the lobby as soon as possible, because now that was the biggest challenge to McJammy just gone, and that is going to be heartbreak for the McLaren driver. But the AI is still going to try to hold on, trying to defend here. And, oh, Ryan Adair is going to have to, he needs to get this move done if he wants any shot. He taps the back of the AI McLaren. The car that is no longer driven by Zops, but is driven by Google Gemini as they try to fight their way on through. Jades and Ryan Adair now fighting, but just in that disconnect alone, Ryan Adair has lost about 2 seconds to McJammy. And this race just gets more and more dramatic as it goes through. Dropping a bit further down, M-John does get past Kazuto. Kazuto gets past for that P9 slot on the rostrum. And wow, that is just insanity. And also, M-John just doesn't have a front wing. I thought we would have fixed that by now. Red Bull gives you wings, so I mean, I guess it's got the wing, it's just missing the nose cone. But Jade's still trying to find some kind of gap, and he'll go to just try to go for it. Zops is back, but the damage has been done, and he has been out of a podium spot, which is so heartbreaking for the McLaren man, because he really could have won this race.
Yeah, that's very, very heartbreaking for Zops. He had pace to win. He was sitting behind McJammy. He had this race basically almost won, technically. But that's very unfortunate for Zops. But he's going to look to hunt down McJammy with potentially 6 laps to go. Because that gap between himself and Ryan Adair is 1.5 seconds. And if Ryan Adair and Jade's battle, that's going to basically let him come up into P2. So that's the thing. I think that's where Zops can finish at this point in time. P2, maximum P2, unless McJammy makes. But being realistic here, McJammy is not going to make a mistake. So the best he could do is P2, if Ryan Adair and Jades keep fighting. But he's almost within that 1 second. Is Zops. So let's see what he fight back. But yeah, McJammy with that disconnect has said, "See you later. My pace, and I'm gonna use it now." And he's got a 2.8 second lead at this time. But let's have a look at Ryan Adair. He's looking very quick on the back of the Alpine here, with coming around with 4 laps to go next time by. So let's see if Ryan Adair can do something against Jades here. Going round the final corner, does the flick maneuver, try to get that car turned in. He's going to use almost all that match. Let's see if he can get that overspeed in that run. Going down into turn 1, he's got the speed. Is it good enough? No. He's going to sit behind and wait some more. But yeah, that gap has actually come down to McJammy. I believe it was like 2.8 seconds. It's now down to 1.7 seconds. So McJammy has lost a bit of time. He has lost a bit of time, has McJammy. It's back up to 2 seconds now. But it could be because he's saving battery, obviously. But yeah, let's see what Ryan Adair can do. Can he get P2? Well, we're gonna find out very, very, very soon. Probably down this next straight, because he's all over the gearbox of Jades. So let's see. Is he gonna have the overspeed? Yes, he has that speed. Will he make a move? He's all over the gearbox, basically bump drafting him. Will he go around the outside? No room. But look at this. Look who's back. Back again. It's your boy Zops in the McLaren. So don't count out Zops in this P2 battle here, Reckers.
Oh, he has well and truly brought himself back in as it is 5 laps to go. Here as they come across the line, it'll be the final 4 laps of the Grand Prix. As Ryan Adair is going to try to burn it down. He's kind of toggling the boost on and off. Oh, he looks one way, looks another. A brake lock up there from Jades. And that's going to send him a bit deep. The only thing that can really just undo McJammy's race here is if there is a penalty. And oh, deep send there from Ryan Adair. He ought to give it back, but look at Zops right back in the mix. Zops is going to go ahead and continue. And he's going to continue just to knock on the door. He wants revenge. Return of the papaya. As even if McJammy now gets a penalty, he should be gravy unless he manages to somehow pick up 2 in the span of 2 penalties in the span of like 4 laps. As we go through the next 100% race is actually next week in Madrid. So we're heading to the Spanish Grand Prix next time out for a 100% race. And it's going to be a fun time. I'm looking forward to Madrid. And Ryan Adair is going to just continue to try to knock on the door of the battle for P2. Jades is going to get a really darn good result for Alpine because Alpine have needed this podium. I'll have to look at the results, but I think this might be the first podium for Alpine in Div 1 this season. I could be very well wrong, as I'm gonna just take a look at that real quick. Gonna just do some investigative journalism. So actually, I do think, yeah, as far as I can see, this is actually the first podium in Div. Yeah, this will be the first podium in Div 1. Actually, no, correction. Jade's got a podium in, he got one in Coda. So, there's that. So, second podium for Alpine in Div 1. So, just did a quick little fact check there. So, we should be gravy. Oh, okay, so actually got DSQ'd. So, well, I guess first podium for Alpine here in Div 1. So, it's going to be a fun one here as we get ready to begin the penultimate lap here. As Zops gets one on the inside. That's a spot you don't see him move very often. He got a spot there, and that is going to be P3 for the McLaren man on the recovery drive. And as we begin our penultimate lap, I'm going to pass this one over to you, Daniel.
Thank you very much indeed, Reckon. This fight continues for P2, 3, and 4. Who will come out in those podium spots? Will it be mixed around? Will it stick the same? Well, let's hope it sticks this way, because I was the one that put 20k channel points on McJammy. So I've got 20k points on McJammy, so he better not bottle this too late. Alright, so let's see here. Jades, he's looking good. First over the podium. So, but he does have a very quick Zops behind him, who's already gapped Ryan Adair by almost 8/10 of a second. So Zops is looking to get revenge on what he lost due to that disconnect. So let's see if Zops can get past Jades, and let's see if Jades can hold on to what seems to be, at best, P3. So through these next couple of corners, and this is where it could go all right or wrong. If we have a bit of yellow flag moment, it's Zombie and Terrence potentially. A bit of an accident between them. But let's see what Zops can do. Coming around the last couple of corners, will he get the run? Will he have the speed? The answer is both of them yes. So let's see if he's going to send it down. Final hairpin. And he's going to stay behind. But as McJammy starts up, it's over to you, Wreckers. Let's find out Who'll be on the podium? Or potentially not. So I'll take this away then. So McJammy, he's been leading Grand Prix.
I did a
He's
silly.
led from. What happened? Talk to me.
Um,
Muted?
yeah, I was muted. I had to clear my
Oh
nose out,
my
and I'm
God.
sure that was something that was not wanted to be heard on chat. So, and thanks for potential cover for me. Zops is going to go ahead and make his way through. He's going to try. He looked for the move going into turn one. Nothing quite there. Yellows in. Oh, that's a Mercedes. Zax is at a moment. So Zax now will drop down to 13th. As McJammy just needs to survive the rest of the sector. As Zombie gets a 10-second speeding into pit lane penalty. He is out of the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix on his penultimate tour. But McJammy is going to make his way across the line, and he'll be a driver who's brought two different constructors to victory circle. Zops and Jades goes through, but McJammy Dodge will win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and that is a third constructor winning here as Zops will get him across the line by less than a tenth of a second. Zops and the Jades, and then Ryan Adair will round out the top four. Katusha running out the top five. And what a drag race to the line it was. And boy, oh boy, that is just absolutely perfect. As we come ahead and get the rest of the drivers to come across the line. Zax, he'll jump into 12th after penalties for Weber. And Can-Am will get points on debut, coming across the line, a P14. Points for the Cadillac. It'll be 2 points, or 2-point scoring results for Caddy. And it is Jade's first podium here in Rush Racing League. First one for Alpine. And it was a drag race to the line. But your winner for two constructors, it'll be Mick Jammy taking the race win.
I'm gonna have to figure out what McJammy's what his Discord is, because I don't even know what that is. So
I believe it's
So, yeah,
I believe
very
it's
ref-
Meowsy.
it's Meowsy, yeah, duh. Okay, yeah. I'll let you read out the results and I'll get the top three notified and in.
Sounds like a plan, as the podium celebration will go live. And it was a great race from all of our drivers here. And we'll see how this one we'll see what the thoughts of the drivers are in the interviews. I'll be looking forward to that one for sure. As the drivers get ready to celebrate the podium here in Jeddah. And the celebration does go live. And so here are your superlatives here, as pretty much everything except for most overtakes and cleanest driver goes to McJammy. And then K&M most overtakes. So the rookie getting a lot done in the Cadillac, with Dito being your cleanest driver. Here are your race results for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It'll be McJammy ahead of Zops, ahead of Jades, Ryan Adair, Katusha, Bailey, Aiden is Raiden. It'll be Dito, and then M. John, Kazuto, Huddy, Zax, Weba, K&M, and Terrence rounding out your point scoring drivers. And then we've lost Falcon, who was the last driver across the line. Then Zombie, MI Pixel, and Koopa Troopa rounding out your results here on the day. So we're going to go ahead and get ready for the interviews. And this is going to be a fun one. We'll see if we're able to get any of the other ones. But right now we do have our brand new podium sitter in Jades. So Jades, congratulations on the podium, mate. I know jumping in your rookie season with the reigning overall Constructors Champion definitely did put a lot on your shoulders, but you finally got the podium here in Jeddah. How's it feel?
Pretty good. First one, yeah. He only got P2, but I think I was quite lucky that he lagged out as well. So, yeah. good overall race though. I reckon I kept it with the pace. Just got a little bit of damage. Like I clipped the inside, but it wasn't that much, so it was fine though.
Yeah, I mean it's almost a given around Jeddah because Jeddah is such a tight track. How did you find energy management around here? Because we know energy management is a very difficult thing around this track, probably more difficult than any other track on the calendar.
Yeah, it just sucks. There's no low speed corners except for turn one, and you just have to lift in every single corner. It's just a pain in the ass. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting one. Jeddah normally is a fun track to drive, but with the current regulations, it just makes things extremely difficult. Two more questions before I pass you over to Daniel. It is Madrid next up, 100%. It is back to the endurance racing. How do you feel about the new Madrid track? You love it? You hate it? Indifferent?
Um, it's if it it's just a sausage curves, I reckon that gonna kill us now for sure. But it's not the best track, I reckon.
Yeah, we'll see how this one pans out. I mean, I've covered Madrid before. It's a fun track to watch. We'll see how you guys handle it next week. Last question before I let you go. Any final shout outs you would like to give out?
Thanks for Noah for engineering me, and yep.
All right. Well, congratulations on the podium, and I'll pass you over to Daniel if he's got any other questions or comments.
Yeah, I've got a couple here for you, Jade. One, how does it feel to get your, well, technically your first ever podium in Rush Racing?
Pretty exciting because a lot more sweatier in these leagues for sure, and I think it's very like exhilarating.
Yeah, and how did you manage to keep up with the front guys of McJammy and Zops?
I think just slipstream and blue boost, honestly. And because of the amount of lifting you have to do is just wild, so you just all stick together. Unless someone makes a mistake, is basically just a big group. But luckily we got away from fifth, or else it would have been harder. But yeah, that really helped.
And I've got two more before I let you go for the night. One, do you think you could win this race being basically in the slipstream of the top, well, five almost, top four almost?
Probably not. I think the guy who won, I forgot his name. He just had so much more pace than everyone else. I feel like he was just going easy on us, to be honest. But yeah, I don't think I would have won if because just him. He was just too fast.
And last question, do you have any people to say thank you to, or any people you would like to thank?
Noah and Falcon. Falcon was the late reserve that had to fill in because we had no one else to drive with me, and also Noah for being engineer for both of us, so which helped me out a lot in the race. So yeah, thank you for them.
Yeah, well done on your first ever podium, Jade. We'll see you next week for the 100% around Madrid. Take care, mate.
Thank you very much. See you later.
Right then, we can't unfortunately get Zops, so we're gonna have to move straight. Actually, we'll go cleanest driver, because since McJammy took that out, we'll go cleanest driver. It's Dito, the Williams TP, mate. How you doing?
Hey guys, how you going?
Doing pretty awesome. Now, you've got cleanest driver. Do you think you could have gotten driver of the day?
Oh, I don't know, man. Tonight was a bit of a weird one. Yeah, I just sort of quality's just been killing me lately. So trying to get through this field, and by the time you do, everyone's sort of already got that gap. And with the overtake, it's game over. But yeah, I don't know, man. It was happy to get cleanest driver, I guess.
Yeah. So, what was the strategy going into Div 1 here tonight? What was the call? Was it going to be a two-stop? Was it going to be a potential one-stop?
No, it was always a one stop, man. I know I should have probably tried something after quali to get in front of some of those guys, but yeah, it just didn't really go our way tonight. But yeah, had to try and maximize obviously with one car on the grid, trying to get as many points as I could, but you know, it's just yeah, I'm surprised no safety cars too. I was really banking on one towards the end there, but yeah, nothing happened. So
And I've got two more before I'll hand you over to Rekkes. One, it's Madrid next week, 100% Madrid. What's your thoughts, questions, or comments about Madrid next week?
I haven't even done a lap yet, to be honest, on Madrid. I haven't even tried it on this game yet, so yeah, probably got a lot of work to do. Hopefully no one shows up, and then I can just cruise along by myself.
Yeah, I've raced it a couple times in a couple different leagues. It's actually quite fun, especially if you nail the chicane with all the big sausage curbs. But last question before I hand you over to Rekkers, do you have any people to thank or say thank you to?
Just the Williams guys, of course. And yeah, and obviously, yeah, thanks for comms tonight for both of yous. That's about it.
Well done on the cleanest driver. I'll hand you over to Rekkers if he's got any other questions or comments.
Cheers.
I think this is the first time that we have actually done a cleanest driver interview. But I don't have anything. Congratulations, and we will see you next week in Madrid.
Thanks, mate. Take it easy.
All right, and then last but most certainly not least, it is Meowsy, the race winner, a driver who has won for two different teams already this season. So Meowsy, it was looking pretty dicey
Hello.
there for a while. The Zops disconnect really kind of did help you out a bit there. But do you think you still would have had the pace to get the win even without the disconnect from Zops?
Unsure. I mean, we were pretty even on pace, so it's hard to tell, really. He had a bit less swing than me. We had very diverse battery maps. He would save a lot on Sector 1, where I had more wings, so I utilized that as much as possible there in Sector 1. So it's really hard to gauge. I think he definitely had a big shot for the win, so it was really unfortunate to see him disconnect. I tried to him back into the lobby as soon as possible so he could, not be too disadvantaged from that and at least get a P2 to salvage his race, which ended up working. So, yeah, quite unfortunate from him. Would have been an interesting battle for the lead, but I guess for my sake, it was good, but obviously not the most entertaining and enjoyable one to win because of that.
How do you guys feel that you're going to do around Madrid? It's a new track. It's very tight. A bit more friendly on the energy side of things from what I know, but I mean, concerning Jeddah, it's not really a high bar.
I think that chicane in Sector 1 cancels everything out. I
Yeah,
mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I see like a car doing a front flip there one time. I think it's also meant to be an enduro, so I wouldn't be
it
surprised if you
is.
see half the lobby with ropes around their neck afterwards. I think I'm still top 5 in the world there, so if I were to race, at least I know I have good pace. But I don't know, it's still too hard to tell, really.
Do you think you'll bring a third constructor to the top of the of the leaderboard? Because you did it with McLaren, you did it with Haas. You're just collecting these wins with teams like Infinity Stones at this stage.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and do every team at this rate. That would be pretty funny.
That would be pretty funny. It'd be
I
one
don't
of the
really know,
first.
to be fair. It's for me at the moment. I'm kind of bouncing between Haas and McLaren. Unsure if that will continue or not. Even if I am gonna continue still doing reserve races, I still don't think it's fair for me to go full time because of how busy my schedule will be towards the end of the season. I just won't be able to do any races. So yeah, I think maybe in the next odd few weeks I could give a couple more constructors some wins, or at least some podiums, or maybe just the same ones as I have been doing. We'll see. But yeah, should be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just kind of have to see how the rest of the season plays out. I mean, you might get a Thanos award if you somehow manage to get a race win with every constructor. But
Yeah.
uh, congratulations on the race win, and I'll pass you over to Daniel if he's got any other questions or comments.
Thank you very much, Wreckers. Now, well done, McJammy. You basically had it sealed from qualifying until the end of the race, basically. Um, Now, couple questions. One, will we see you more often in Division One now, since you've started to get back to your winning ways?
Uh, I don't know. Whenever my like schedule works well with me, I guess. It's not like I really have too much of a say on if I don't really race or not, depending on the grid or the track. It's just whether if I have time or not. So yeah, well, I'll see. I I think the next few weeks will be a bit more lenient considering my mock exams are all done, so there's a bit less pressure to actually do school stuff. So maybe I'll do a couple more races here and there, but towards the end of the season, probably not.
Well, that's a bit unfortunate because I do love seeing you race every time. But second question, Madrid. Have you done many laps around it? Like, what's your thoughts around the Madrid circuit?
Um, I don't really know. I have not done a single qualifying or race around here. I've done a decent amount of time trial laps. I remember when the track got updated and the time trial leaderboards got reset, I did like 2 nights of grinding around there. Managed to get, as I said, top 6 in the world. So, um, I mean, that's not really representative in my opinion of what my pace will be. So, yeah, I'm rather inexperienced. Like around that track, some people probably wouldn't be because I was away in the first few weeks when leagues were starting back up, and I'm sure many of them did Madrid as the opening track. So, yeah, unknown for me.
Okay, well, I've got this last question before I let you go. Do you have any people to thank before I do let you go?
Yeah, Haas and Zops, McLaren, and Katusha for giving me some excellent toe and head. I mean, yeah, just toe, not head, definitely. Down my qualifying laps. Although I don't think it really made a difference on getting pole or not. It was nice to see how quick I could go with the toe. It only gave me, I think, a tenth and a half. From what I checked. So, I mean, not too much, but still a big difference.
Okay, well done on the win here tonight, McJammy or Meowsy Gaming, as your Discord reads. But well done on the win. I'll let you celebrate it with the team or whoever the heck you're probably gonna go sleep, knowing you. But yeah, well done on the race win. We might see you next week. We might not. Hopefully we do. But yeah, well done. Have a great night, mate. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap things up here at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And what a night it has been here in Jeddah. You have any final thoughts, Daniel, before I send this one off into the sunset?
Jeddah, it's tight. It's very, very tight around the corners. So I would advise not going side. I would advise not going side by side through the S's. But it's Jeddah. It's interesting. It's a very interesting track to race around. But I enjoyed tonight. Really did enjoy tonight, especially having a very long day out. Calm down, relax with a bit of Div 1. So, yeah, very, 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 very tight race for the top step of the podium.
Yeah, we had a really good battle, and it's unfortunate that the disconnect really just kind of derailed things as it just kind of as EA servers typically do, unfortunately. But that's going to be all from us here tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning on in. Massive shout out to Sim Racing Center, SimLab, and Pagadian Advanced Simulation, our sponsors. Be sure to go ahead and check them out using the links throughout the Discord chat, or sorry, Twitch chat. And on behalf of Daniel, my name has been Patrick Coleman, and we have been your hosts and commentators for tonight's action. Tune in Tune in tomorrow when we do it all again for Jeddah Div 2. And next week, we're going to go mad at the Madring. Stay hydrated and have a good night. Goodbye.